Hello, CUSD. I hope you're all doing well. This presentation, or video in this case, will serve as your CUSD best practices for common finals. We will address several of the procedures, policies, and within this video will be embedded a Google form where you can complete and fill out a test security agreement that says you're going to adhere to all the policies and procedures involved with common finals. Just quick, some little housekeeping tips here. There is a video assessment YouTube channel. This YouTube channel houses all our videos, instructional videos, how to access test results, how to administer a test online, some basic stuff that is necessary for you. This is also available as a link within our research and assessment department website. So I'm going to go ahead and take you there just so you can find it. So when you go to your staff resources and links, you'll go under departments. And when you go to your staff resources and link, you'll find us under assessment. When you go to assessment, you're going to see a bunch of information, including the assessment calendars, YouTube channel, support help ticket, in case you have any issues. Also, if you scroll down, you'll see several of the state tests, but I want you to take your attention to the district assessments. The district assessment and the common final icon. Once you click on this common final icon, you're going to get a front-facing page that shows basic information that anybody can see. But near the bottom, you're going to see common final staff resources. Once you click on that, it'll prompt you for your credentials. Now, I'm already signed in, so it's going to take me right to the page I need to go to. So I'm going to click on that. Once I get there, I've got several informational documents that are very key. One is the School City Frequently Asked Questions document you can download. You'll see a revisions form, which we're not going to get into for this particular video, but you're going to see the Common Final resources, where you have your Common Final blueprints. There'll be a testing checklist for you that'll cover everything with workable hot links within it, where it'll show what you do at the beginning, before testing, material prep, after testing. It'll kind of be your one-stop shopping for everything that you need. As far as other informational documents, you can download those. It'll tell you how to do grade cam scoring. Because we're doing it online, you won't necessarily need that. But with this, it'll give you PDF documents, because not everybody likes to watch a YouTube video, so it'll give you some PDFs. I wanted to show you that just so you had access and know where to find it. Going back to the presentation, this is your team. Adam Sachs is our Director of Accountability and Assessment. Assessment specialists are Sarah Ravel, Dino Katsaris, Amanda Billings, and myself, Michael Vazzosi. The main points of contacts for common finals are Sarah Ravel and myself, Michael Vazzosi. So keep that in mind. Here's the basic calendar schedule for common finals. Now, we do list, it's a computer-based test this year. We do list a common final window. So if you look in December and May, you'll see windows for semester 1 and semester 2 right here. Now, it is a window, but every site, and we do have basically 2 days where we do give common finals. And that's really what we do. It is listed as a window, but actually it's a common final days, and it's usually Wednesday and Thursday of that final week of that semester. And then grades are typically due that Friday morning. So that's the window, but not necessarily a window. We have days, but that's the time frame we do it in. It is a computer-based test. The time for high school is typically 90 minutes. Junior high is 75. Once the finals are complete, the test results are available in the report section of School City under test results. There are several videos on our YouTube channel and PDF documents on that staff resources page that I showed you that show you how to access those. Most of you are pretty comfortable with that, but if you need help, that will guide you along. I think most of you, this is basic information, but it's important to mention the test coordinator for which will be you for your particular final. You want to make sure that your room has good lighting, ventilation, basic stuff that, free from distractions, in range of seating, so Students cannot easily see computer screens or test booklets, if there are any test booklets of others, and that you can move easily about the room. That's some basic information that's important to mention. Computer-based testing, the student will log in and access the assessment. They'll utilize a PIN that you have activated, and you are proctoring the exam. Once again, those resources on how to activate with a PIN is available on our website. Just to click back to the website, let me go back here. You'll see that there are basic and specific documents for how to activate an online administration with a PIN. And there's also a YouTube video. So going back, you can always find that information. The good part about an online test is you get immediate feedback. It's done and completed, and typically we want to make sure that you are ready to roll when you have to do your grades. Testing information and test security. This section will discuss the basic test information and what's going to be expected of the students and what you can expect to see when you receive access to the common final. The key for you is this: where do I find my assessment? Well, it's pretty easy to find once you get into School City, because it'll be placed in a specific collection for you. So for example, once you get into the YouTube channel or you get into the documents on the staff resource page, you're going to see a lot of information on how to find my final, or how to find an assessment period. But we've tried to streamline it for you, so you can access it through your assessment flip card here, or you can access it through Launchpad. I prefer Launchpad. It's just a little easier. So I go to Assessments. The key for you that I want to take you to is, when you're trying to find a common final, it has to be, and you have to be, on your district tab right here at the top. The issue is, if you are trying to search for a common final and you're not on that district tab, you're not going to find it. So yours looks a little different up here, but you have ones that say My Assessments, School Assessments, but you have a PLC, but you also have a district tab. You got to make sure you're on the district tab. Once you're on the district tab, you can go to the collections, and we've tried to break it down. You may not even need to go to the subject area, because if you look here, we've broken it down into collections. So you'll see the ELA common finals, first semester, second semester. So if I want to see the ELA first semester common finals, I click that collection, I hit the refresh button, and there are my common finals. So it's an easy process, and that's what the video will show. But if I just wanted to give you a brief snippet of that, and there's also a PDF that shows you how to do that. But the video is about three minutes. It's really fast, so watch it, kind of take yourself through that. But they're all placed in collections, so it's a little easier to find. So heading back to the presentation itself, that's where you find your assessments. That's kind of step one. As far as the testing conditions go, when we create common finals, and we've met with cadres, and we've created some revised versions of common finals. When we have these common finals in, the testing conditions for students, there are some universal testing conditions for all students. This would include any student, and these are available on all basic state tests. So small or one-on-one, this is a local arrangement, which means it's a site-based arrangement, which we can include it at every site for all students. Small group or one-on-one testing, scratch paper, individual stretch break. You can kind of look through those. Those are all that are universal to all students. So you don't need an IEP, you don't need a 504 for that. Going to some universal tools. These are ones that are available within School City on the common final. You don't have to worry about this. These are ones that we are going to put for you. So like text to speech, zoom in and out, answer eliminator. Answer eliminators, not necessarily let's eliminate an answer for them. It's once they figure out, hey, they have A through D, and they've figured out A, it's not answer A, they can use the answer eliminator to check that off and put an X through it. That way they don't have to look at that one anymore. That's really helpful for some students. There's a highlighter available, line reader, just to name a few. But we'll have these preset for you, so you don't necessarily need to even worry about those. These are universal to all students, so they'll already be embedded within the common final, and we are going to distribute a sample test that will allow you to practice these universal tools with your students. And that'll be a key for you, and it's going to be a simple test that's, basically low, maybe third grade content, but it's going to give you time to practice those tools because some of the students may find them advantageous to use during the test. And once again, these are the common universal tools that are available on state and district tests. There's several of these, but once again, these will be preset for you, so you don't necessarily need to worry about going in and saying, well, how do I find these or what do I do with these? They'll be updated for you and preset when we publish the actual assessment. Now, these are universal tools. These are for all students. So you have those universal conditions where it's available to all students. Just to review, you have, excuse me, universal tools, these two slides, and then you have some that are available special accommodations. For example, some English learner students. They have available to them within the common final simplified directions. We can translate directions orally, or we can provide a translation dictionary. Those are ones that are available for students, but they're for their directions. So that's key. That we won't translate a passage, but we will utilize these accommodations for directions. The other thing available are for students that have IEPs and 504s. These are some, to name a few. These are listed within School City. For example, special paper version. There are some students that may be visually impaired that will work with the special paper version or visually impaired teachers to make sure that these students are accommodated. The key for you is to check in with your SPED coordinator to make sure that we're finding these students, we're making sure that these students have an equitable testing environment. That is a key for us. So we want to make sure that we find these students early and we address the accommodations that are necessary for them. When we actually get to who the test administrators and proctors are, and we've looked through the accommodations and we're ready to go, who actually administers the test? Well, it's you, but also we have to make sure that people that are administering the test, if for some reason we need a sub in there, obviously they'll be an employee of the district, but we need to make sure they're an employee of the district. They've been trained and watched this video. That's important. And they understand the testing procedures, and they must be familiar with all the test administration directions, how to find a final, who to contact if there's any issues at all with the test itself. When we look for a test administrator or somebody that's administering the test, you have to make sure that these are all restricted. These aren't printed and shared. That feature won't even be available, but just to make sure that all these test materials are kept under lock and key. Let's say, for example, we do have a student that needs a special paper version and there is a printed copy out there. Got to make sure they're secure at all times, and obviously pretty common sense, but no adult will be able to erase or change any of the student responses or mark anything in any scoreable document or change anything online. As far as test security, just a couple things to address. It's unethical and it will be viewed as a violation for any person to discuss any test items during the assessment. Excuse me. Examine or read the content with students during the test, or take any pictures or capture any images via electronic devices. The other piece of the puzzle is it's also unethical to instruct students to go back and reread or redo responses after they've finished the test. Review student responses and read and review any student's scratch paper, because we want to shred that scratch paper once it's done. or basically influence students' responses by making any kind of gestures while students are taking the actual test itself. The test security agreement. This does say civics, but it's actually the common final test security agreement. It's under the same title, but it won't look like this. I did do a snapshot of a picture of a former paper version. Assessment facilitators and anybody that is coordinating this as far as collecting test security agreements, you won't need to collect anything because we're going to create a Google form, and the link within this presentation will take you to the Google form. Once you've watched the video and you've agreed to all of this, you'll type your signature basically, and you won't be able to administer the common final until you've actually watched this video and signed off. And what will happen with that Google form, it'll send a response directly to us and we'll be able to see who has it. Now, all principals will have access to their Google form specific to their site and be able to track the teachers that maybe have not watched this video. Those teachers will not be allowed to give the common final until that video is complete. Disruptive students. It happens during a test. It can occur. If a student is disruptive in any way, which means during the testing, they refuse to test, they receive help from others, or they engage in behavior that's not consistent with what your expectations are, there are several possible actions that you can take, but you want to have a site-based plan for that. But I would look at moving the student to a different testing location before you just dismiss them from the test, or check with your site administrator and check with any, possible disciplinary procedures that can occur. Obviously, during testing, there's unacceptable devices. There's no cell phones available for the student. They should not. It should be just like any other state standardized test. It's You want to use the same conditions and make sure that nothing is available to them, or there's any way possible that we will, um, I guess, invalidate the test. As far as the computer-based test for proctors, there is extensive videos and instructional PDFs on our website for this, but you access your assessments through Clever. Most of you know how to do that. Clever looks like this on our staff resources. You should have a School City badge there where you access School City. Once you click on it, you'll see that information. I've already been logged in, so it'll take me directly to School City. And then you go finding your assessments, you go through your Launchpad or your flip card like we did earlier in the presentation. And that's how you'll access your assessments. And how you find them is you filter it by your period. So once I find the assessment that I want, remember you're on the district tab. Once I want to give an online administration, I go to the online administration, and once again, there are videos for this, but I go to the online administration. And once I go to the online administration, yours is going to look a little different because I have access to all the schools. So what I want to make sure that you understand is that it's going to give what you just clicked on, the online assessment here, but what you're going to have is teacher and you're going to have period. What yours is going to say is basically your class periods, and you're going to pick the class period that you want and you'll access that class period. And I would only activate each class period one at a time. If you teach one subject area, I would not activate all my students at once because then you're going to have the same pin for every class period. Change that up, and that'll make a lot more sense once you watch the video on how to do an online administration and once you look at the PDF itself. Going back to the presentation, I'm going to scroll down here. Once you've completed it, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, you'll have test results. It's pretty easy to find the test results. There's a couple places you can go to find those test results. Once again, I do have instructional videos on our YouTube channel on how to do that. I also have put a PDF file there, but you'll access the test results through the report section of School City. And it's pretty straightforward on how to do that, but there's a couple places you can look. When you look, there's reports right there through your launch pad. There's also a location here on your flip card where you can also access your test results. And you can also access them through the function buttons of the assessment itself. But those are the two easy ways to find your test results. How do you access and how do you get students in? Well, I already showed you how to get through Clever for you, the staff. That's you right there. For the student with Chromebooks, we do have a lockdown browser on the application drawer. Once they get into the application drawer on the bottom of their screen in Chromebooks, Dells are a little different, but the lockdown browser works the same. Basically, lockdown browser puts them in the School City account, and if they navigate away, it logs them out of the test. They can't navigate to a web page, try and do research, so that way they're not aiding themselves in any way. But the students can access that. They have to use their username and password. They have to match what their student computer is when they log in, the student username and password. So once they access, excuse me, School City, you have a PIN for them. Once you've activated the test, it's 4 digits. They'll enter that PIN number before they can actually access the test itself. And there's videos and instructional videos on how to do that. And we will keep that in mind when you go back through and you're looking through the resources. The checklist that we provide, which is a one-page checklist, has a hot link, and the hot link will take you to a video on how to activate it with a PIN and how to monitor your students. Tips and hints: you won't need to worry about the bubble sheet issues at all or the grade cam. You're going to worry just about this right here. These are for paper-based tests only, so you can read through that, and there will be very few students that need this, or this applies to you, because there's probably very few students that have a paper-based test. Online testing is where you need to pay most of the attention. The bottom right, online testing, you activate the assessment prior to the students trying to access the exam. You'll get a PIN number. You don't need to add any accommodations because we will have those added for you. So your only job, really, monitor and make sure that students are doing what they're supposed to. As far as the civics exam, I should have hid that from you. Sorry about that. This right here, you want to make sure that you are keeping an account any questions that you have. We will be happy to answer for you. If you have any questions about any part of this video or any part of this presentation itself that you are confused about, feel free to reach out. This is the most comprehensive and fastest video I could get through. As far as 23 minutes is not too bad, but I wanted to make it shorter, but it's a video that I think you can look through. And if you're following these procedures as simple as possible, following the ethical guidelines that we have for testing and making sure that you are following the checklist, because I'll be honest with you, that one-page checklist that is available in your staff resources, which is right here, and we'll have it posted on October 20th, which is tomorrow. All you have to do is look at that, and it takes you through your checklist step by step with video links and hot links for PDF files and everything that you need. And once again, we are here to support you. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.